Have you ever wondered what would happen if your kidneys were slowly losing their ability to work properly, but you felt completely normal? It may sound surprising, but kidney problems do not always announce themselves with pain or dramatic symptoms. In fact, chronic kidney disease can develop gradually, and during the early stages, many people may have few or even no noticeable symptoms at all. That is why feeling fine does not necessarily mean your kidneys are functioning perfectly. And before we go any further, there is one important point to understand. The symptoms we are going to discuss today do not automatically mean your kidneys are failing. Many of these signs can have other causes. The goal is not to diagnose yourself from a symptom. The goal is to recognize changes that may deserve attention and, when appropriate, proper testing. So, why are your kidneys so important? Every single day, these two small organs are working quietly in the background. They filter waste products from your blood, help remove extra fluid through your urine, and play an important role in maintaining the balance of minerals and electrolytes your body needs. Your kidneys also help regulate blood pressure and produce hormones that support the production of red blood cells. In other words, your kidneys are not simply organs that make urine. They are deeply connected to your overall health. When kidney function becomes significantly reduced, the effects can reach far beyond your urinary system. Fluid balance, blood pressure, energy levels, mineral levels, and other parts of your health can all be affected. Now, imagine a 6'2" man or woman who feels perfectly healthy. Maybe they take an occasional walk, eat what they consider a normal diet, and have no kidney pain whatsoever. They go to a routine checkup, and their healthcare professional orders some standard blood and urine tests. Then, something unexpected appears. Their kidney function is lower than expected. The person may be surprised because they never felt that anything was wrong. There was no dramatic pain, no obvious warning, nothing that made them think, I need to get my kidneys checked. And that is exactly why waiting until you feel something can be misleading. But here is the hopeful part. Finding reduced kidney function does not automatically mean that kidney failure is around the corner. The cause and stage matter enormously. When a problem is identified, healthcare professionals can investigate what is causing it, monitor kidney function, manage blood pressure and blood sugar when necessary, review medications, and address other factors that may affect long-term kidney health. In other words, knowing there is a problem gives you something extremely valuable, information you can act on. In this video, we are going to walk through the warning signs that deserve your attention, the symptoms that are often misunderstood, and the important blood and urine tests that can provide a much clearer picture of how your kidneys are actually functioning. And finally, we will talk about practical, evidence-based habits that can help you protect your kidney health for the years ahead. Because one of the most important things you will hear today is this. Some of the earliest signs of kidney disease may not be something you feel at all. They may only show up in a simple blood or urine test. Now that you understand why kidney disease can remain hidden for so long, let's talk about the changes your body may sometimes give you clues about. But I want you to remember something important as we go through these signs. Having one of these symptoms does not automatically mean your kidneys are failing. Many of them can happen for completely different reasons. What matters is whether a change is persistent, unusual for you, getting worse, or happening together with other concerning symptoms. Let's start with something most people pay attention to every day without even realizing it: your urine. Sign 1. Changes in urination. One possible warning sign is a noticeable change in the way you urinate. You may find yourself urinating more often than usual, especially during the night. You might notice that your urine looks persistently foamy or unusually bubbly. In some cases, there may be visible blood in the urine, or you may notice a significant change in how much urine you produce. Now, don't panic if you occasionally see bubbles in the toilet. Urine can look foamy for many harmless reasons, including the force of the urine hitting the water. But if the foam is persistent or repeatedly looks different from normal, it is worth discussing with a healthcare professional because protein in the urine can sometimes cause persistent foaming. Visible blood in the urine also deserves medical evaluation, even if there is no pain. And here's a simple example. Imagine someone notices that their urine has been unusually foamy for several weeks. They assume they are simply dehydrated, so they drink more water and forget about it. But the change keeps happening. Instead of guessing what it means, a simple urine test could provide much more useful information. The lesson is not to become frightened by every change in the toilet. The lesson is to pay attention to persistent changes and get them evaluated when appropriate. Sign 2. Swelling in the feet, ankles, or around the eyes. Another possible sign is swelling, particularly in the feet, ankles, lower legs, or sometimes around the eyes. Your kidneys help regulate fluid and salt balance. When kidney function is significantly impaired, the body may have difficulty managing excess fluid, which can contribute to swelling. You might notice that your shoes feel tighter at the end of the day, your socks leave deeper marks around your ankles, or your lower legs look noticeably puffier than usual. But again, swelling does not automatically mean kidney disease. Heart problems, liver conditions, certain medications, prolonged sitting, and other health issues can also cause swelling. So if swelling is persistent and you cannot explain why it is happening, don't simply tell yourself, "I'm getting older." Getting older is not a diagnosis. Find out what is actually causing the change. Sign 3. Unusual tiredness or weakness. Have you ever reached the end of the day and thought, "Why am I this exhausted? I haven't even done that much." Persistent fatigue can have many causes, but significant kidney disease can sometimes contribute to unusual tiredness and weakness. One reason is that advanced kidney disease can be associated with anemia. Healthy kidneys produce a hormone called erythropoietin, which helps your body make red blood cells. When kidney function becomes significantly impaired, production of this hormone can decrease, potentially contributing to anemia and fatigue. But this is where we need to be careful. Being tired after a poor night's sleep does not mean your kidneys are failing. Stress, inadequate sleep, nutritional deficiencies, thyroid problems, infections, anemia from other causes, and many other conditions can leave you exhausted. So don't diagnose yourself based on fatigue alone. Instead, if you are experiencing persistent, unexplained tiredness that is affecting your daily life, that's a reason to talk with a healthcare professional and find out what is actually happening. Sign 5. Persistent itching or dry skin. Another symptom that can occur with significant kidney dysfunction is persistent itching. For some people, the itching can be widespread and difficult to explain. It may happen without an obvious rash and can become particularly frustrating when it continues for weeks or months. Severe kidney dysfunction can disturb the body's balance of minerals and other substances, contributing to itching. But once again, there are many other possibilities. Dry skin, allergies, medications, liver problems, skin conditions, and other issues can also cause itching. So the important question is not, "Am I itchy? Does that mean my kidneys are failing?" The better question is this itching persistent, unexplained, widespread, or happening together with other changes in my health? If the answer is yes, it is worth getting evaluated. Sign 6. Muscle cramps or changes in muscle function. Your kidneys also help maintain the body's delicate balance of minerals and electrolytes. When kidney function becomes significantly impaired, abnormalities involving substances such as calcium and phosphorus can occur, and these changes may contribute to muscle symptoms, including cramps or weakness. But let's be very clear here. An occasional nighttime leg cramp does not mean you have kidney disease. Muscle cramps are incredibly common and can happen because of exercise, dehydration, medications, muscle fatigue, or many other reasons. The concern is more about persistent or unexplained muscle problems, particularly when they occur alongside other symptoms or known kidney risk factors. Sign 7. Difficulty concentrating or feeling foggy. When kidney dysfunction becomes severe, the buildup of waste products and other disturbances in the body's chemistry can affect how a person feels mentally. Someone might describe feeling unusually sluggish, having difficulty concentrating, or feeling mentally foggy. In much more severe cases, confusion can occur. But there is an important distinction here. Forgetting where you put your keys once in a while is not evidence of kidney failure. Everyone has moments of forgetfulness. The concern is a significant or persistent change in mental clarity, especially when it occurs alongside other concerning symptoms. And if someone develops sudden or severe confusion, that should never simply be blamed on the kidneys. It can be a medical emergency requiring prompt evaluation. Sign 8. High blood pressure, the two-way relationship. Now we come to one of the most important connections between kidney health and overall health. Blood pressure. High blood pressure can gradually damage the blood vessels inside the kidneys. Over time, that damage can contribute to declining kidney function. But the relationship works in the other direction too. Kidney disease can contribute to high blood pressure because the kidneys play an important role in regulating fluid, salt, and hormonal systems involved in blood pressure control. So you can end up with a harmful cycle. High blood pressure can damage the kidneys. Damaged kidneys can make blood pressure more difficult to control, and uncontrolled blood pressure can cause further kidney damage. This is why keeping your blood pressure under control is not just about protecting your heart. It is also an important part of protecting your kidneys. The most important point: symptoms are not enough. At this point, you may be thinking, if I don't have any of these symptoms, then my kidneys must be fine. Not necessarily. And this may be the most important message in the entire video. Early kidney disease can cause few or no noticeable symptoms. You could feel completely normal and still have an abnormal kidney function test or protein in your urine. That is why symptoms alone cannot tell you how well your kidneys are working. You cannot look at your urine one morning, feel energetic, and confidently conclude that your kidneys are healthy. The more reliable approach is to understand your risk factors and, when appropriate, have your kidney function checked with proper blood and urine tests. And that brings us to the next part of this video, because we're going to look at the tests that can actually tell you what is happening inside your kidneys, rather than relying on symptoms and guesswork. Now you know some of the changes that can sometimes occur when kidney function is declining. But here's where we need to move away from symptoms and towards something much more useful: objective testing. Because if you really want to know how your kidneys are doing, guessing based on how you feel is not enough. There are two particularly important tests you should know about. Solution 1. Know the two key kidney tests: the blood test creatinine and eGFR. The first is a blood test that measures something called serum creatinine. Creatinine is a waste product that your body produces naturally. Healthy kidneys normally filter creatinine out of the blood and remove it through urine. When kidney filtration is reduced, creatinine can build up in the bloodstream. But here's where it gets interesting. Healthcare professionals don't usually look at creatinine completely on its own. They can use it, along with other information, to estimate your kidney filtration rate, known as eGFR. Think of eGFR as an estimate of how effectively your kidneys are filtering your blood. A lower eGFR can indicate reduced kidney function, but one result should not automatically be interpreted as permanent kidney disease. Results need to be considered in context and, when appropriate, followed over time. That's because kidney function can sometimes change temporarily due to factors such as illness, dehydration, or other circumstances. So don't become obsessed with one number. The goal is to understand the bigger picture. The urine test UACR. The second important test looks at your urine. It is called the urine albumin to creatinine ratio, or UACR. Why does this matter? One of the important jobs of healthy kidneys is to keep valuable proteins inside the bloodstream. When the kidney's filtering structures are damaged, a protein called albumin can leak into the urine. Finding elevated albumin in the urine can therefore provide an important clue that the kidneys may be damaged, even when the person's filtration estimate has not yet fallen significantly. This is one reason a kidney checkup shouldn't necessarily be based on a blood test alone. You can have useful information from both sides. The blood test helps assess how well the kidneys are filtering. The urine test can help identify evidence of kidney damage, such as albumin leaking into the urine. And remember, kidney health is not determined by one number. Healthcare professionals may consider your eGFR, UACR, blood pressure, medical history, medications, and other factors together to understand the overall picture. Solution 2. Know your risk factors. Now let's talk about who should be especially proactive about kidney health. If you have diabetes, your kidneys deserve particular attention because persistently elevated blood glucose can damage the small blood vessels and filtering structures inside the kidneys. If you have high blood pressure, that matters too. As we discussed earlier, Uncontrolled blood pressure can gradually damage the kidneys, while kidney disease can also make blood pressure harder to control. People with cardiovascular disease may also have increased kidney risk because the heart, blood vessels, and kidneys are closely connected. A family history of kidney disease is another reason to discuss your personal risk with a healthcare professional. And if you have had kidney problems in the past, that history should not be forgotten simply because you currently feel well. Certain medications and other medical conditions can also affect kidney health, particularly in people who already have reduced kidney function. This is why it's important to tell your healthcare professional about everything you regularly take, including prescription medicines, over-the-counter pain relievers, and supplements. But here's the hopeful part. You cannot control every risk factor. You cannot change your family history. You cannot turn back time. But many important kidney risks can be identified, monitored, and managed. And that gives you something powerful. An opportunity to act before a problem becomes more difficult to manage. Solution 3. Control the major drivers. Once you know your risk, the next step is protecting the factors that have the greatest influence on long-term kidney health. First, manage your blood pressure. Don't treat high blood pressure as just a number on a machine. Your blood vessels carry blood directly to your kidneys every minute of every day. Keeping blood pressure within the range recommended for you can help reduce stress on these delicate blood vessels. If you've been prescribed blood pressure medication, take it exactly as directed and discuss any side effects or concerns with your healthcare professional, rather than stopping it on your own. Second, manage blood sugar. If you have diabetes or another condition affecting blood glucose, keeping your blood sugar under appropriate control is an important part of protecting your kidneys. You don't need perfection. What matters is consistent management and regular follow-up. Third, maintain a healthy body weight. Excess body weight can contribute to conditions such as high blood pressure and diabetes, which can increase kidney risk. Instead of chasing rapid weight loss, focus on sustainable habits you can maintain for years. Fourth, stay physically active. Regular physical activity supports cardiovascular health, blood pressure control, blood glucose management, and healthy body weight. You don't necessarily need an intense workout. Walking, strength exercises, cycling, swimming, or other activities that are appropriate for your fitness level can all contribute to a healthier lifestyle. Fifth, avoid tobacco. Smoking damages blood vessels throughout the body, and because your kidneys depend on a healthy blood supply, protecting your blood vessels is another important part of protecting kidney health. If you smoke, quitting can be one of the most valuable changes you make for your overall health. Finally, follow your healthcare plan. If you already have high blood pressure, diabetes, cardiovascular disease, or known kidney problems, don't rely on internet advice alone. Your treatment plan should be individualized. Keep your appointments, take medications as prescribed, have recommended blood and urine tests, and ask questions when you don't understand your results. Because protecting your kidneys is not about finding one magical food, drink, supplement, or trick. It's about identifying problems early, controlling the major risks, and consistently taking care of the factors you can actually influence. And in the next section, we're going to turn these principles into simple everyday habits you can start applying to your routine. Now let's bring everything we've discussed into everyday life. You don't need a complicated kidney protection routine. In fact, the most useful habits are often the simple ones you can repeat consistently. Tip 1. Don't wait for symptoms. One of the biggest mistakes is waiting until something hurts before paying attention to kidney health. Remember, early kidney disease can develop without obvious symptoms. So if you have risk factors such as diabetes, high blood pressure, cardiovascular disease, a family history of kidney disease, or previous kidney problems, talk with your healthcare professional about how often your kidney function should be checked. A routine blood and urine test may reveal changes long before you notice anything yourself. The goal isn't to become worried about every little symptom. The goal is to avoid waiting until a problem has become advanced before discovering it. Tip 2. Be smart with salt. Now let's talk about something that is easy to overlook: sodium. Eating too much sodium can contribute to higher blood pressure and fluid retention. And uncontrolled high blood pressure can gradually put stress on your kidneys. You don't have to make your food completely tasteless. Start by reducing heavily processed foods that are often high in sodium. Check nutrition labels when you're buying packaged foods. And instead of automatically reaching for the salt shaker, experiment with herbs, spices, garlic, lemon, or other flavorings. Small changes repeated every day can matter much more than a dramatic diet you follow for 1 week and then abandon. Tip 3. Stay hydrated, but don't force excessive water. You've probably heard someone say, drink as much water as possible. More water means healthier kidneys. That's not necessarily true. Your body needs enough fluid to function properly, but drinking excessive amounts of water does not automatically make your kidneys healthier. Fluid needs can vary depending on your body, climate, activity level, medications, and medical conditions. And if you have certain kidney or heart conditions, your healthcare professional may actually recommend a specific fluid limit. So don't follow a one-size-fits-all hydration rule from social media. Drink appropriately for your situation, and if you've been given individualized fluid instructions, follow those recommendations. Tip 4. Be careful with painkillers. This is one that deserves special attention, especially as we get older. Common pain medicines known as NSAIDs include ibuprofen and naproxen. These medications can be useful for certain people and situations, but frequent or inappropriate use can increase kidney risks, particularly in people who already have kidney disease or other risk factors. That doesn't mean you should suddenly stop a medication that your healthcare professional has prescribed. Instead, know what you're taking. If you regularly use painkillers, especially if you have high blood pressure, diabetes, heart disease, dehydration, or known kidney problems, ask your healthcare professional or pharmacist whether the medication and dose are appropriate for you. Never change an important prescribed medication simply because of something you heard in a video. Tip 5. Don't trust kidney detox claims. You may see teas, powders, supplements, and extreme cleanses promising to flush or detox your kidneys. Be skeptical. Your kidneys already have a sophisticated filtration system. You don't need a miracle drink to magically wash toxins out of them. And natural does not automatically mean safe. Some supplements can interact with medications, contain ingredients that are poorly regulated, or potentially cause harm, especially in people with existing kidney problems. So before spending money on a product promising to cleanse your kidneys, ask a much better question. What evidence shows that this actually helps? When it comes to kidney health, evidence-based medical care beats miracle claims. Tip 6. Move your body regularly. Your kidneys don't need you to become an athlete. They benefit from the healthier environment created when you regularly move your body. Walking, cycling, swimming, resistance exercises, or other activities appropriate for your fitness level can support cardiovascular health, help manage blood pressure and blood glucose, and make it easier to maintain a healthy body weight. And you don't have to do everything at once. A short walk today is better than an ambitious workout plan that you abandon next week. Think consistency, not punishment. Tip 7. Protect your sleep and overall health. Finally, don't overlook sleep. Poor sleep can make it harder to manage blood pressure, blood glucose, appetite, and overall health. Aim for a regular sleep schedule and create a simple nighttime routine that helps you wind down. And remember that kidney protection isn't about one perfect habit. It's the combination of many ordinary decisions. Eating sensibly, moving regularly, managing blood pressure and blood sugar, avoiding tobacco, using medications responsibly, getting appropriate testing, and following up when something changes. You don't need to do everything perfectly. You need to start taking the right things seriously and keep doing them consistently. And that brings us to the most important message I want you to remember from this entire video. Before we finish, let's bring everything together. If you've noticed changes in how often you urinate, persistent swelling in your feet or ankles, unexplained fatigue, nausea or changes in appetite, persistent itching, unusual muscle weakness or cramps, or significant changes in your concentration, don't automatically assume that your kidneys are failing. These symptoms can have many different causes. But they are also changes that shouldn't simply be ignored, especially if they persist, become worse, or occur alongside other health problems. And remember the important connection we discussed with blood pressure. High blood pressure can damage the kidneys over time, while kidney disease can also make blood pressure harder to control. But there is one message I want you to remember above everything else. Symptoms are clues. Tests provide information. Early kidney disease can be surprisingly quiet. You may feel perfectly normal and still have changes in kidney function or albumin in your urine. That's why, when appropriate for your age and risk factors, checking things such as your eGFR and urine albumin to creatinine ratio can give you information that your symptoms alone simply cannot provide. And discovering a problem does not mean you failed or that your future is already decided. Kidney health isn't about becoming perfect overnight. It's about the small decisions you make consistently. Managing your blood pressure, keeping blood sugar under control when necessary, staying physically active, eating a balanced diet, and being mindful of excess sodium, using medications responsibly, avoiding tobacco, getting appropriate kidney testing, and following up when something doesn't look right. You don't have to change your entire life tomorrow, but you do need to take your health seriously enough to act when the evidence tells you something needs attention. Because your kidneys may not always complain when they're struggling. Sometimes, the smartest thing you can do is listen before they have a reason to. CTA, let's continue the conversation. Now I'd like to hear from you. Have you ever had your kidney function checked with a blood or urine test? If you have, tell me in the comments what you learned from the experience. And if you know someone over 45, someone with diabetes or high blood pressure, or someone who rarely thinks about their kidney health, consider sharing this video with them. One simple conversation could encourage someone to get a checkup they might otherwise have postponed. And if you found this information useful, subscribe to the channel for more evidence-based videos about healthy aging, kidney health, heart health, blood sugar, nutrition, and protecting your health as you get older. Take care of yourself, stay informed, and remember, don't wait for your kidneys to complain before you start listening to them.